Hello and welcome to Music Industry City's New Thoughts, where we discuss fresh ideas and take a look at the industry from a different perspective. I'm Peter Schwing, and joining me today is my fellow co-host, Stephanie Carlin. If there's something you'd like to chime in about, let us hear your thoughts in the chat or leave a comment below. It's all right, don't be shy. We actually look forward to hearing what you want to discuss. Then we can have a nice conversation about it. Also, stick around at the end of the show. What we do is we roll the credits, and then you kind of get this little behind the scenes after show, fly on the wall thing. Stephanie and I do a little wrap like, hey, we missed talking about this, or hey, what's up for next week? And if you're in the chat, then you can have a conversation, and we'll it's all kind of off the record. So let's see what we got going on this week. All right. Welcome to 2021. That's the third time I'm saying that this week on the show. 2021, meet the new year, same as the old year. But it's 2020 has taught us a lot for especially musicians, and it was an important period of initiation for creators who have the power to impact and influence other people's hearts and minds. So we're going to talk about how to get creative with our time and this year, so that we can return transformed and elevated to touring and quote unquote business as usual. So let's kick this off. Let's bring Stephanie on up. Stephanie, how are you?
Hey, Peter, I am feeling good. Mm-hmm. How are you doing? Third show of 2021, is that right?
Third show, yes. And it's been, 2021 is already delivering with all the technical difficulties. Murphy's Law has been in full effect. And I think 2021, and especially with everything that's going on in the world, it's like, it kind of said hey, we're just going to take 2020 and compress it into a month or something like that. That's what I feel like. It's just like 2020 on steroids. Everything's super fast, and there's a little more energy, at least, especially after yesterday.
It's actually only been 7 or 8 days, though. Right?
I know.
It hasn't even been a month.
It feels like I've already been through the first quarter of 2021.
Well, it's probably just gonna keep cranking up and up and up, and that's what we got to get ready for, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you get to recharge at the end of the year?
I took 2 whole weeks off. It was so sexy. I sat and did nothing as much as I could, right? Because, I'm addicted to my devices just as much as anyone else. What did you do for the last couple of weeks? Did you get to recharge?
I got to explore new worlds.
Yeah, I've heard.
I didn't really necessarily recharge. I kind of dug in and was like, hey, what's this virtual reality thing? I followed years ago, and I was kind of and then all of a sudden it's I started jumping into the world, and I was like, this is fantastic. And I met a bunch of world creators, a bunch of the Burning Man crew that have been building these virtual worlds. You feel like you're on the playa. They have all their parties, DJs, so much creativity and amazing talent. And, people talking about, oh, we're building stuff in Unity, 3D and all this stuff. You know what the amazing thing I found is that inside VR, these people I'm meeting, and I'm going to get there in a second, but first, we're hosting weekly VR and music networking meetups in alt space. And so far we've had hundreds of people in there. We had last one, we had 150 people roll through. It's absolutely amazing. It's the Wild West. It's in infancy. See, I can't even speak yet. And it's so exciting. It's going to your first week of college, and you just meet everybody, and everybody's awesome and so welcoming. And then the drama starts later on. But everybody's so willing to help and talk about creative. But to get to my point was the people I've met. I walked into this one person built a world where it's a record store. And in the record store, you can go over and you can pick up a record, and it'll play a soundbite from the album. And you can flip over the record, and you can see all the credits, you're just holding a record. And I met the guy who developed the world, musician. Some people are building these other worlds. I'm oh yeah. They're well, yeah, I was a musician. And and they're learning how to build virtual reality 3D worlds. and they're
Can record
musicians.
stores go out of business in VR, or will they
No,
just be there
no,
forever?
they'll be there forever until, like, the shop owner closes it down. But that's the thing. It's, during the 2020, when everything shut down, many musicians took that opportunity to go do something and expand their creativity, and tapping into a new base. There's one guy does a weekly like acoustic kind of cafe. He has an acoustic like cafe show he does every week, and people are hanging
In the
out
VR world.
in the VR world. He's now gaining all these new fans. So when I go back and I talk about why aren't musicians on Twitch or doing live streaming, and I'm not talking about live streaming concerts, I'm talking about just live streaming music, rehearsing, writing, engaging with their audience. Now there's VR, and that's a whole different world of an opportunity. And there are some musicians out there that have taught themselves how to do 3D. And they're like, yeah, I learned this in 2 weeks and I built this world so I can go hang out in. And it's like, so 2020 taught, like you were saying, like 2020 has taught us a lot. And some musicians
I'm
have
excited
really
for you
taken
to teach me
Yeah.
how to use VR
Oh yeah.
and do that in 2021. That's what I want you to teach me to do.
We are so getting into that because to have these avatars and the conversations in there, it's fantastic. So, but the whole thing is like the opening that you submitted to me was like, talk about how to get creative with our time in 2021.
Oh yeah.
So there's
want me to
tons of
talk
people.
about that?
I want you to talk about it, because this whole thing, just bring it back, and we're going to bring it full circle. All right.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm still reeling a little bit from yesterday's events at the Capitol. Yeah. And every day seems to bring a new drama to the reality show called America, brought to us by our reality show president, who is not going away once he leaves the White House. And no matter which side you're on, what the last 4 years has exposed is the immaturity of our society. Our society is immature and childish. And in 2021, great art is going to require a spiritual connection like never before. And you, as the great artist, must look beyond doing more, achieving more, making more, and start to become more in a connection to your highest truth. Spiritual mystics have, they call this your sage energy. And our society is not acting as collective sages. Our society is acting like children. And you, as the great artist, must lead the voice of our society, because all we have is our relationship with people. That's all this fucking world is. It's all that VR world is too, at the end of the day. And so the last thing we want to do is polarize, isolate, unfriend, block, shame, riot, pillage those who think different from us, because that's how children act, not leaders. And you are a great leader, which, makes you a great artist too. So the children of our society might want to cancel you. You might make a post and speak from your connection to source, your highest truth, and you might be criticized. You will definitely be judged. So just get used to that. You could be blamed for your listeners' insecurities or their upsets. They will whine and complain, and they will want you to do something to make them happy again. If you're leading in 2021, if you're being a great artist in 2021, your followers will probably gossip about you, shit talk you. They might be loyal to you in one moment and have no consideration for you in the next. And as you already know, they will have no problem expressing their anger at you on social media. In fact, you might have even unconsciously built a brand that collects childlike adults around you. And in 2021 might bring you to a point where you might want to rethink how you speak, what you stand for. Because ultimately, we want to surround ourselves with people, fans, clients, listeners who are mature, who are trustworthy, who do not drain our energy, who can challenge you with respect or kindness, who can support your growth with compassion, and they understand that you aren't a guru, you're a human, unlearning just like the rest of us. And you, the great artist, can award them the same compassion, even if they're not there yet. So I ask you in 2021 to discover a fusion of leading through your art with a childlike wonder and a higher consciousness of your soul. I ask you to embody forgiveness and compassion in real time. We fucking need it. To remember who you are when you inevitably get called out. It's inevitable for being who you are. And that you don't get like bogged down with who is right and who is wrong, but that you lean on a connection with something higher than yourself as you cultivate strong boundaries and a deep knowing of who you are as an artist and a leader. See, we need your art this year because this year is the year of the awakening. This is the year where all the untruths are being stripped away and we're being forced to grow. And we need your art to help us because art is the fabric of the human experience. Music is the fabric of the human experience. Your art allows us to keep going as humanity. We're not here on this earth for the politics. We're here for the art, for the connection it gives us to something greater. And, you know, I know the quality of people who are listening to this. There is nobody more capable and ready to handle this than you guys in 2021. And that's what I think is coming for this year.
Right on. Yeah. The big thing, like cancel culture. I mean, has it just gotten out of hand?
I am strongly opposed to cancel culture. I think it's disgraceful to cancel someone based on a mistake, based on you thinking differently than another person. This is more of the immaturity in our society. That's what I think about cancel culture.
A lot of the cancel culture I've seen, it's not even about necessarily making a mistake. It comes from just having a different opinion. Because you have a different opinion than us, we're going to cancel you. If you look at it, it's like there's a lot of that. I mean, there's some people that maybe really deserve to be canceled, but the thing is, it's just like, it's based on this opinion, and that's that divisiveness. And the fact is, and what you were saying about like you're as an artist, like, you know, you have your fans and some are going to, you know, they're going to be praising you, and then all of a sudden they might not sound like a song. And then they're going to get on there like, oh, your new album. You're like, I liked your old stuff better. I don't know what you're doing with your new album. I don't like this direction. You should go back to what you used to do because that's what I like.
It requires a new level of spiritual strength, I say. This is why our spiritual connection matters, because it requires spiritual strength to be with those interactions on everyday posts, because as artists, we're content creators. We're not just making music, we're making content every day. We're putting ourselves out there every day. Anyone making content is risking a part of themselves every day. And so you run the risk of being canceled every day.
Yeah.
And it requires spiritual strength to be with that, let it go, and not have it interrupt your art, right?
Right. Well, they use the old saying of like, you know, don't look at, you release an album or like a film and it's like, don't go read Billboard, don't go read Variety, Pitchfork, you know, don't read what the critics are going to say. Well, now with social media, when you post it up there, or whether, I mean, even if you release an album and you don't even post something about an album, you just post a picture of like your cat, the critics, all of a sudden, you know, everybody's a critic. So you can post a picture of your cat and they'll be like, oh, by the way, your new album sucks.
And we don't actually take into consideration how painful all these little jabs are from the comfort of our screen, because this isn't how human beings actually speak to each other.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's, well, you say I'm walking down the block. How would it feel if, like, every time you walk past somebody, they just poke you and they whistle, or like, you know, you can be walking and somebody just come poke you in the shoulder, whisper in your ear, your new song sucks. And then you walk another 10 feet. Hey, I don't like the new outfit in your video. Hey, it's like if you were walking, and that's what it is. It's like you just flip on your social media and you're scrolling through. It's just like people just interjecting. I call it like the interruption economy. It's, you know, with advertising, that's a whole different thing. But it's kind of like many artists can't just even post something like, well, and Billie Eilish, like, body shaming and on the outfits and like everything. It's like people, the thing that you said, people don't talk like this in reality, but it seems like they do. It's just that they're hiding behind the keyboard, behind the screen. So it's kind of like are they going to say it in, real life, in person? Unfortunately, we are more on social media now, and more so than ever, that's affecting these people are affecting the mental health of these artists or just people in general. It had nothing to do with music.
And I think that's why it's also more than ever so important to have an inner circle that champions you and to know who your people are that you can always rely on for nourishment. And, when I'm making something new or making a new piece of art, I'm always wary of who I share it with, because there could be one concern or one critique or one piece of negative feedback that can just undercut the whole thing. So I'm very private with like how my art is made until I'm ready to be spiritually strong with that piece of art and be able to be gracious and be great with feedback or criticism that is not necessarily going to empower me. But gee, how nice is it that someone cares enough to shit on my work? That's how I like to think about it.
Well, what there's a saying. I forgot what the saying is. It's a new term to describe people that make a post, like a controversial post, and they wait to see what the reaction is before they say, yeah, I meant that, or I was just kidding.
Okay, I've done that a few times, I will admit, in some not so pleasant moments with myself.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and it goes for anything. It goes for people who's starting a business or starting. You're always going to get people chiming in, and even if you want to show something like, oh, this is what I'm working on, and you learn, even in your inner circle, you learn who you can share that with that understand your vision, because that's the other thing, is understanding your vision. And I can use this as an example. I was working on something in VR, and I was making these like some avatars because I just taught myself how to use all these programs, and I want to say, look what the possibility is. And I sent it to a few people, and one wrote back, oh, this doesn't match this, that, and the other. And I even explained, I'm like, this is really rough. I did this in 20 minutes. I just learned this software, and the software was actually in Japanese, so I had to use translations to actually learn how to do this. Okay. But it's just to give you an idea of what's possible. And they're like, yeah, this doesn't work with that. That's, the voice and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, and I just wrote back, that's not the point. And I know not to ever share something with them again, because we're not looking for, it's like, hey, I'm working on something. What are your thoughts on this? That's a different thing than saying, hey, this is what the possibility is. And so many people, and that can really affect people. And like you say, you have to be spiritually strong.
That's right. And that's why we want mature people in our inner circle. That's why we want people who have compassion and respect for the creative process in our inner circle, who understand how fucking vulnerable it is to dare to make anything.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. If you create something, somebody's going to shit on it. Somebody's going to praise you. It's just, you have to balance it out. But one thing that I love when I was coaching with some artists and everything, and here's a little tip on social media, was when you post something, and you know how the second you post something, we're all refreshing. It's like, did I get a like? 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 Social dilemma. Did I get a comment? So somebody commented. Okay, somebody commented. And I was saying, only look at maybe the first 5 to 10 and respond to them. Engage with your audience, with your fans. Respond to them, but don't waste that much more time on it. And once you get past 10 comments, move on to something else. Move on to your next, because that's where it usually takes to devolve. It's like after the 10th comment is usually when it starts devolving into, and then people calling each other out. And then you don't want to tie yourself up with that. Like if somebody says, oh, this song's terrible, well, you're going to have fans that are going to come to your defense. And that's nice to see, but also you're getting into that negative energy and the time vampires.
Now that's some sage energy. So only give your attention to the first 5 comments, move on to the next.
Yeah, I mean, because then you can go like focus on, or maybe like when you stagger, if you stagger it out, like a lot of times artists like to also, come in like, all right, I'm putting it out on every platform. Okay, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, whatever the hot TikTok, whatever the app of the week is. And it's like, okay, Monday at 8 a.m., I'm putting that all out. And then what do you do? Well, what about if you did it on Monday on Facebook, Tuesday on Instagram, then go make some videos for a release 2 weeks later on YouTube? Keep the album cycle going. And then you can focus on those first 5 to 10 comments in each platform. And you can engage with the audience on each platform.
I also like when artists do that because, like, as a fan, it like almost creates this organic ad rotation where like, I might think about clicking on Monday morning and I don't, but then like Wednesday morning it pops up again, but over in a new feed. And then I remember like, oh shit, I wanted to go click on that. And then I do. And I appreciate that. It's a way of like making your own organic ad campaign. That's how I think about it in my own head.
Yeah, it's a release cycle for a major artist with the full marketing background. They can just drop it on on a Friday. Yeah. And everybody's going to know about it anyway. But for the people that have to fight through that noise and through that competition, and like you said, Monday somebody might be busy. They could be and not paying attention to anything on social media. So therefore, you miss them on Instagram, you miss them on Facebook, you miss them on YouTube, you miss your fan or somebody, a potential fan right there, just by putting everything out at one time. So spread it out and then deal with the 5 to 10 comments in each platform.
Love it.
And move on.
Love it.
So, all right. So what is your, let's break it down in quarters, because that's what I'm doing. I'm dividing the year down into bite-sized nuggets. So I have my quarterlies, my monthlies. What is it that you're looking to see or your goals for Q1?
So I'm over in my mastermind that I lead right now in Q1, and it's called Truth School. And so every week I'm doing some deep spiritual work with the entrepreneurs, artists, thought leaders there. But like if I peeked over to Q2, where I'll be releasing some of my own music, I'm really wrapping my head around how to I'm an independent artist. I run my own team in-house, and I'd like to have a $10,000 launch with my next single. And I am thinking of singles in terms of like offerings, like in my coaching programs. So my single that's coming out called Recipe for Freedom is going to have its own brand story. It's going to be this whole release with a workshop that I'm going to batch with it. And I'm playing with this idea of running everything in-house, running all my PR in-house, all social media marketing in-house, hiring all these people on my own team, and then running each part of my single releases like it's a little launch of an offer, and coupling it with a workshop. And I don't see too many artists launching music like this. And I'm really excited to be my own guinea pig through Q1 with a release at the top of Q2.
Well, to tie this all together, aren't we the creators their own guinea pig in the first place?
Exactly.
And scene. All right, Stephanie, thank you so much. We're going to wrap up and stick around for a bit. So that is going to be it for today, and I am going to put this up on the screen. There we go. And that's going to be it. So check us out, musicindustrycity.com. We're also on your preferred podcast players. You can join Music Industry City for free to just make sure you hear about all the shows that are going on. We have a lot of great programming. Special guests are coming in. We have the Monday Kickoff. We have Tuesday Talkies, Freeform. We are doing stuff in virtual reality. So if you want to get involved in that, make sure you go to musicindustrycity.com. to find out everything you need to know. There's so much going on, I can't even get to it. So we're going to be rolling that over the next few months. All right, and thank you again to my co-host, Stephanie Carlin. Have a great week. Peace.